Up next on Line TV, we have a story about what happens during Foreign Language Week, and we have a story about the popular comedian movie The Mask.
And me, Chandler Hopper, here to give you your latest precipitation updates this week. All that and more, Line TV starts now.
Good morning, Cersei. Welcome back to another episode of Line TV. I'm Aiden Denson.
And I'm David Hodges. Hope you had a good weekend. Now let's get right into these students' announcements.
Upon turning 16 years of age, students are required to receive a second meningitis vaccine.
Seniors, keep the memory of you walking across this stage forever with a graduation digital copy. If you or a parent would like this copy of this year's graduation, there are order forms in either office. The cost is $10. Please turn in an order form with payment. Pay with exact change or check made out to Cersei High School.
Tryout for next year's Cersei High swim team will be on May 11th to 12th from 5:30 p.m. to 6:15 p.m. You only have to attend one of the days, and you must have a completed physical form. Information packets may be picked up at either office.
Mighty Roar Spirit Store located in room 217. Please enter through room 218. Stop by and see what they have to offer and help support this amazing store.
If you see a robotics team member today, congratulate them. At the Rocket City Regional this past weekend in Huntsville, Alabama, the team made it all the way to the semifinals of playoffs. The addition to that is they won the most prestigious award in the FIRST Robotics, the Impact Award. This is a very big deal to win this award. The team also scored the most points of all the competition. This qualifies them to attend the first World Championship in Houston later this month, where they will compete with their robot as well as interview for the Impact Award.
The Cersei High School Quiz Bowl team won third place at the Arkansas State Conference 6A Division this weekend, and two of our students made all-tournament. Please congratulate them when you see them in the hallways. Hey Aiden, did you participate in the Foreign Language Week?
Sadly, no. Luckily, we have Connor Willard to tell us about this special week.
Almost every year, Spanish and French classes merge together for a week-long celebration of language before spring break. Today, we will take a look into the events and activities in it.
For me personally, the best part of Foreign Language Week is getting to see all four levels interact together. We don't normally get to do that a whole lot. So having them all together and not just French, but interact with other languages like our Spanish classes, I love the community of it.
French Week it's one of the highlights of the year. I really love watching the talent shows and all that happens that week.
Language Week is the week before spring break where Spanish and French classes come together and celebrate with many language-oriented activities.
My favorite part of Language Week is probably watching the talent shows and watching the students perform. I really like to see all the talents SHS has.
For me, probably the talent show. I think the students like the food day the most.
The week has become an entertaining event for many students, but the week before spring break has not always been so fun.
Years ago, we always have the end of the 9 weeks and then spring break. We have the end of the 9 weeks in a week before spring break. I went to the principal and asked if we could have, Foreign Language Week and do food and have speakers come in and watch a movie and languages, and that's how it evolved.
Within the coming years, the teachers wish to bring more into this eventful week for all of the language students.
Hopefully we can incorporate some new activities. We haven't had a speaker for a while. Sometimes we have foreign students come in. It just depends on, who can come in when we have that week.
I am super excited. I love seeing them interact for our talent show, for example. It's really fun to see everyone put their talents forth within the cultural setting.
We hope that every French and Spanish student had a fun and exciting language week, and we look forward to see what the teachers add in the coming years. Now, back to the news desk.
Thanks, Connor.
I'll be sure to work more on my French. In an effort to address the crime scene at State Capitol, Little Rock Mayor Frank Scott Jr. is proposing that the Little Rock Board of Directors launch a special citywide weekend curfew for youth under the age of 18. Slated to go into effect on Friday, April 17th, the request comes after a shooting that occurred in the River Market last Saturday.
Still marveling over their moon mission, the Artemis II astronauts received a thunderous welcome home Saturday from hundreds who took part in the NASA's lunar comeback that set a record for deep space travel. The crew of 4 arrived at Ellington Field near NASA's Johnson Space Center and Mission Control, flying in from San Diego, where they splashed down just offshore the evening before.
President Donald Trump said Sunday the U.S. Navy would swiftly begin a blockade of ships entering or leaving the Strait of Hormuz after the U.S.-Iran ceasefire talks in Pakistan ended without an agreement. U.S. Central Command announced the blockade would involve all Iranian ports beginning on Monday at 10 a.m. However, CENTCOM said it would still allow ships traveling between non-Iranian ports to transit the strait. Its announcement was stepped down to the president's earlier threat to blockade the entire strait and allows traffic to flow the crucial waterway as long as it avoids Iranian ports. Trump wants to weaken Iran's key leverage in the war after demanding that it reopen the strait to global traffic on the waterway where 20% of global oil transited before the fighting began.
It's gotten a lot warmer lately.
It has. Let's send it over to Chandler Hopper with all of our weather updates.
Good morning, Cersei. Let's get into some weather updates. Today, the high is going to be 84 degrees and it's going to be mostly cloudy with a 6% chance of rain. The winds are going to be at south-southwest 14 miles per hour and the humidity will be at 62% and the sun rose at 6:34 a.m. On to tonight. Tonight, the low is going to be 63 degrees with some thunderstorms rolling in. The rain will be at 65%. The winds at south-southwest 8 miles per hour and the humidity will be at 80%. The sun will set at 7:39 p.m. On to the almanac. The last 7 days average, the high was 86 degrees, the low was 49 degrees, and the monthly average of precipitation was 5.42 inches, and the month to date is 0.74 inches. On to the forecast. Thursday, we're going to have some scattered thunderstorms, and the high will be 83 degrees and the low is 63 degrees with the 68% chance of rain. Friday, it's going to be partly cloudy, and the high will be 88 degrees, and the low will be 66 degrees with a 10% chance of rain. On Saturday, we're going to have some showers coming in, and the high will be 70 degrees with the low of 42 degrees with a 61% chance of rain. On Sunday, it's going to be mostly sunny with the high of 72 degrees and the low of 42 degrees with 1% chance of rain. And on Monday, it's going to be partly cloudy with the high of 74 degrees and the low of 47 degrees with a 2% chance of rain. Looks like we got some showers coming in the middle of the week, Cersei. Now let's send it back to the news desk.
All this weather talk is making me hungry. Do you know what's for lunch today?
Today for lunch we'll be having buffalo popcorn chicken, classic cheese pizza, beefy enchiladas, classic chicken sandwich, mac and cheese, fresh whole fruit, and milk.
Be sure to thank our lunch ladies for all their hard work.
All that food talk is making me want to sit down with some popcorn and watch some movies.
Well, good thing Dalton Pinkerton can tell us about The Mask, starring Jim Carrey.
Over the years, Jim Carrey has starred in many classics such as Ace Ventura, The Grinch, and The Truman Show. One of his all-time classics has been pretty popular around campus, called The Mask.
Let's rock this joint!
I would say it's more of a comedy. I think it's more of something to get the crowd to laugh. You know, they made a whole cartoon series on it afterwards, and it just seemed like it was more of a lighthearted comedy.
I think it's a cartoon brought to life. It's like a Looney Tunes movie, but in a live action aspect.
Pardon me.
There are many memorable scenes in the film, each one meaning something different to each person.
My favorite scene from The Mask is probably the hallway scene where he smashes that clock. Because like they use all of their special effects on that scene, and it's really cool.
It was just that catchphrase he would always say, the smoking. You know, that part was always really funny to me.
One choice that developed this film into an instant classic was the casting of Jim Carrey, who was becoming a superstar in Hollywood at the time.
That's it. I don't know. Any eyeball glasses? I've never seen those before in my life. Bazooka? I have a permit for that.
I think what defined, that performance for him is it was so in character for him. Like, his type of acting, he's a comedian, he's hilarious. And so The Mask was just a way for him to let it all loose and just be super silly, super energetic on screen. I think he fit the role perfectly.
Geez, I figured you had a sense of humor. After all, you married her! Ah! That's gotta hurt.
So I think the script was made just for him, just how his personality is and how he acts. I don't see anyone else playing the role like how he did.
Due to the uniqueness of this film, some wonder what they do with the power of the mask.
I think I'll try to go for the superhero route. I think I'll slowly drift off being a villain.
Powers I could be a superhero! I could fight crime, protect the innocent. Wait for world peace!
Pretty similar. I'm a pretty goofy guy. I like to have fun. I think it would be pretty similar to what Jim Carrey did. Not as extreme, but yeah.
Make sure to check this movie out next time you're bored or want to laugh. That's all I have for you today, Cersei. Now back to you at the news desk.
Thanks, Dalton.
I'm definitely going to watch that soon.
I wonder how the Masters golf tournament went.
Let's send it over to Bo Bramlett with all our sport updates.
Welcome back, Cersei. Let's get into some sports updates. In local news, SHS men's soccer team would play home Friday night against the Valley View Blazers, winning 6-0. Then they would hit the road to Marion to face the Patriots, winning big 6-0, making them undefeated in conference play and giving them an overall record of 10-4 on the season. The women's team would also face Valley View, winning a tight one 2-0. Then they would carry this momentum to Marion, winning with ease 11-0, making them undefeated in conference and undefeated on the season, sitting 10-0 and one tie. Over on the diamond, our softball teams are coming back off back-to-back wins, beating Whitehall in a close matchup 7-6 and blowing the Heber String Panthers out the water 19-9. In national news, the Masters wrapped up this weekend and it was a huge moment for Rory McIlroy. McIlroy won his second Masters in a row, which is super impressive and doesn't happen very often. He finished at 12 under par and just barely beat Scotty Scheffler by one stroke. The final round was really intense, where McIlroy would have a couple of rough holes early, but he stayed composed and made some big-time shots on the back nine to secure the win. Now he's up to 6 major championships, and he's continuing to show why he's one of the best golfers in the world. Now moving to the NBA, the regular season is wrapping up and teams are getting ready for the playoffs. Out in the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder finished with the best record at 64-18, followed by the San Antonio Spurs at 62-20. In the East, the Detroit Pistons surprised a lot of people, finishing first at 60-22. The Boston Celtics right behind them at 56-26. Teams like the Los Angeles Lakers and the Denver Nuggets are also looking strong heading into the postseason. And now here's a look at the playoff seeding heading into the postseason. The Western Conference, the Oklahoma City Thunder stands strong at the 1. Next is San Antonio Spurs, then the Denver Nuggets, and the 4th seed is the Los Angeles Lakers. In the Eastern Conference, the Detroit Pistons hold the number 1 seed. Second is the Boston Celtics, then it's the Milwaukee Bucks. At the 4th spot is the Philadelphia 76ers. The big question for the playoffs is if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can lead his team to back-to-back championships, but he has a rough road ahead. In the MLB, the Yankees would face the Los Angeles Angels in one of the most exciting games of the year. The Yankees' Aaron Judge and the Angels' Mike Trout, both 3-time MVPs, would be the highlight of the game. Both would go back and forth, each hitting 2 home runs. The Yankees would barely pull away, winning 11-10. That's all the sports updates I have for you, Cersei. Now back to the news desk.
Thanks, Bo.
Well, that's all the time we have for you today, Cersei. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Cersei High Line TV.
And to follow us on X at Line TV, Instagram at Cersei Line TV, and on Facebook at Cersei Line TV. Signing off, I'm Aiden Denson.
And I'm David Hodges. See you on Friday, Cersei.